Have you ever paused, I mean, really stopped and wrestled with that question? Who am I? It feels ancient, right? But also somehow incredibly urgent, like it's right here, right now. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling that very mystery, our plan. To really unpack one specific source for you, it's an ebook called Who Are You? A Journey to Your True Self by Suresh Gamidi. We're aiming to pull out the most, well, profound and maybe surprising ideas just for you. Now, the book itself says, look, this isn't some rigid roadmap. It's more like an invitation. Stand at the edge of your own soul, it says, and just look. It promises a journey through science, philosophy, the human spirit. So, yeah, where do we even begin with a question that huge?
Well, what's interesting is the book signals right away. This isn't passive. It's meant to spark something, to make you question things. The author, Suresh Gamidi, apparently came to this through his own deep thinking about life, about inequality, existence itself. And his background is incredibly diverse. India, Belgium, New Zealand, Australia. You can feel that breadth. So the book really positions itself as maybe a catalyst for awakening. It's sort of nudging us gently to just pause, breathe, and think about where we came from, where we might be going, what our purpose could be, and crucially, without being afraid of the questions.
I like that, a catalyst. Okay. And it starts somewhere maybe unexpected for identity, our cosmic origins.
Exactly.
The book says, to know who you are, you first need to know where you came from, not just your family tree, but the universe.
Yeah.
That feels like a massive leap.
It is. But it's compelling. It throws us back, way back, 13.8 billion years, the Big Bang. The book calls it the birth of everything. Just imagine all matter, energy, space, time just erupting. You get hydrogen, helium, a bit of lithium. The absolute basics. Then stars light up. They're like these cosmic forges, creating heavier stuff, carbon, oxygen, iron, everything you need for, well, us.
And when they die?
Boom. Supernovae. They scatter all those elements across space. And here's the core idea, the real kicker. You are literally made of stardust.
Okay, I've heard the phrase, but literally.
Literally. It's not just a nice thought, it's scientific fact. Every single atom in your body, in your bones, your blood, it's been on this immense journey through stars and across eons of time. And then the book zooms in a bit to Earth maybe 4 billion years ago. The spark of life. How did that happen? Primordial oceans, lightning maybe, hydrothermal vents deep undersea, or perhaps molecules hitching a ride on comets.
It doesn't give one answer.
No, it explores the possibilities. But the point for you, listening, is that you are the end result of this incredible chain, an inheritor of this cosmic legacy. It's a story of resilience, really, a thread stretching from those first oceans right up to, well, to you wondering about it all.
Wow.
It definitely makes you pause and think, doesn't it? Are we just, happy accidents of physics and chemistry? Or is there something more, some purpose kind of woven into it all?
And that question, that leads us, right? To the human part. The book calls it the human awakening, our consciousness.
Yes, our unique ability to reflect, to wonder, to dream. Philosophers, scientists, mystics, they've all grappled with what consciousness is for centuries. And honestly, the mystery is still very much alive.
Which is maybe a good thing.
Perhaps. And every culture has its creation stories, doesn't it? They shape how we see ourselves, our place in the grand scheme. So the book kind of pushes us forward, too. Okay, where are we headed? Is it destiny? Or is it our choices, tech breakthroughs, art, connection? What defines our future path?
The main takeaway seems to be just realizing your existence itself is this incredible thing, a spark, like you said, in this vast universe. So we start out cosmic. The next place to look is inward. Inside our own minds.
Precisely. The book shifts focus to the internal landscape, this intricate labyrinth of the mind.
And it hits us with that question again, but maybe differently. What is the self? Is it solid, real, or more like smoke?
It dives right into that, exploring what it calls the illusion of the self. Neuroscience, for example, tells us consciousness lives in the brain, sure, but there's no single self spot you can point to.
Right, I've heard that. Damage one part and personality can change dramatically.
Exactly. And philosophy weighs in too. David Hume famously called the self just a bundle of perceptions, a constant stream of thoughts, feelings, sensations that we kind of stitch together into a story.
So the I is a construct, a story we tell ourselves.
That's the powerful idea the book puts forward. A useful story, maybe even essential, but a story nonetheless. And then there's memory. Huge, right?
Definitely feels central to who I am, my memories.
Of course. They're like the authors of our identity. But here's the catch the book points out. Memories are not infallible. Far from it. They shift, they fade, details get altered over time. Sometimes we even create false ones.
That's unsettling.
It is. It poses a direct challenge to you, the listener. If memories define you, what happens if they change? Or, God forbid, disappear due to illness or injury? Are you still Yaja? If that core story starts to unravel.
Heavy stuff.
It is. And then it layers in the whole nature versus nurture thing, or the dance of nature and nurture. Our genes provide a blueprint, sure, but our environment, culture, family, upbringing, the challenges we face that shapes us profoundly.
So it's both, constantly interacting.
Constantly. And despite all our differences across cultures and experiences, the book highlights this universal human drive. We seek meaning. We try to make sense of it all. What I find really fascinating here is how the book just keeps pushing us to question the very narratives we rely on, the stories that anchor our reality.
So the questioning itself becomes the point, almost. It reminds me of what you said about purpose. Not a destination, but a process.
Exactly. The quest for purpose is framed like that. It happens within these reflections of the mind. It's not finding one answer and being done. It's this ongoing negotiation, this exploration.
So the book is really encouraging you, the listener, to just look hard in that mirror of your mind.
Yes. And understand that the act of questioning, of looking, that is the journey. That's a radical act of self-discovery in itself.
Okay, so we've gone cosmic, we've gone internal. Where does the deep dive take us next?
Outward, to our connections, the relationships we form, the communities we belong to. The book argues this is the very fabric of our lives.
Right, because we don't exist in a vacuum. It asks, how do these relationships actually define who you are?
Yeah, it digs into what it calls the roots of belonging. From those first primal bonds with family to friends, colleagues, even encounters with strangers. The book puts it plainly. No human is an island.
We need connection.
Absolutely. It gives us meaning, security, a sense of purpose. But, and it's important, there's always that tension, isn't there? Balancing our own individuality with what the group expects or needs.
Finding that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Definitely. Then it introduces this idea of the mirror of others. It's kind of like the looking glass self you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Relationships act like mirrors, reflecting parts of ourselves back at us. But it's based on how we interpret how others see us. We internalize those perceived judgments or approvals.
Which raises a huge question the book seems to be asking. If others shape our identity so much, where's the line? Where does their influence end and the authentic me begin? Is there even a clear line?
That's the core puzzle, isn't it? And the book doesn't shy away from the emotional side either, with the dance of love and loss. Love binds us, lifts us up, but it also makes us vulnerable, asks for authenticity and loss. Well, loss inevitably forces us to redefine ourselves, sometimes painfully, but it can be a crucible for growth, too.
You rebuild somehow.
You have to. Finally, there's the ripple effect. Every single action, kindness, work, creativity, just how we are in the world, sends ripples outward. Our identity isn't just contained within us. It extends into how we affect others, our interconnectedness.
So knowing yourself also means understanding your impact, who you are to others.
Exactly. Stepping back, the big idea here is your identity isn't just this private, personal thing. It's woven into the whole human story. It's collective, in a way.
That really makes you think, doesn't it? Who are those key people who shaped your story? And yeah, what does it mean to feel part of that bigger human tapestry? Okay, so connections weave us into this larger story. Then, the book seems to suggest our beliefs act like our compass within that story, and our choices. That's where the metal meets the fire, where identity gets forged.
That's a great way to put it. Yes, the compass of belief and the forge of choice. The book links them tightly. How do the ideas you hold dear and the actual decisions you make shape who you become?
Let's start with beliefs. Where do they come from?
Well, the book explores that. Sometimes they're inherited, passed down through family or culture. Other times they're forged in moments of crisis or maybe insight, revelation. They become the scaffolding, as the book puts it, supporting your values, your choices, your sense of purpose.
But beliefs aren't static.
Definitely not. That leads to the clash of truths. Beliefs evolve. They collide with new information, with other people's beliefs. Sometimes they shatter. The book points out that scientists kind of live by questioning beliefs, by embracing doubt. Religious people often grapple with doubt, too. Even skeptics hold a core belief, the belief in questioning itself.
History is full of examples of beliefs changing the world, for better or worse.
Absolutely. Beliefs shape destinies. And underlying all this is the deep search for meaning. Is meaning inherent in the universe, waiting to be discovered? Or is it something we have to create ourselves? That's the existentialist view, like Sartre.
So the book leans towards creating meaning.
It explores both. but seems to emphasize the power we have in shaping meaning. And crucially, it stresses the evolution of belief, seeing beliefs not as fixed concrete blocks, but as something more fluid. That fluidity is a strength. It asks you directly, if your beliefs change, maybe fundamentally, does your identity shift too?
That's a profound question. Okay, so if beliefs are the compass, choices are the forge.
Yes, the forge of choice. This section really emphasizes agency, the power of a single choice. Every decision, big or small, is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your identity.
I like that visual.
It's strong, isn't it? The book insists, you are not just the product of your past, you are the architect of your present. You are actively building who you are right now through your choices.
But choices have consequences.
Always the weight of consequence. Choices ripple out, affecting not just you but others too. The butterfly effect, essentially. And the book doesn't ignore the hard stuff. It asks, how do you live with the choices that haunt you? How do you reconcile them?
That takes courage.
Which leads to the courage to choose. Choosing to step into the unknown, choosing to risk failure, choosing what aligns with your values even if it isolates you. That takes real guts. And sometimes, the book points out, we fall into the illusion of no choice. We feel trapped by circumstances.
There's always some choice.
Even if it's just the choice of attitude. It brings up Viktor Frankl in the concentration camps, finding meaning and dignity by choosing his response to unimaginable suffering. That's an extreme example, but the principle holds. What's really striking is the image the book uses. In this forge of choice, you're both the blacksmith and the steel. You're shaping and being shaped by every decision.
Wow. Both the smith and the steel. So, for you listening, what beliefs do you hold about yourself, about the world? And think about it. What choices might you be avoiding? What could happen if you chose differently? Okay, choices forge identity. What about time? It just keeps flowing, carrying us along. How does that shape us? And purpose. How does that fit in with time?
Right. The book connects these two, the weight of time and the pursuit of purpose. Time is the current. Purpose is maybe the direction you try to steer within that current. It asks, how does knowing life is finite influence who you think you are and why you think you're here?
So looking back first,
Yeah.
The past.
Yes, the echoes of the past. Our past forms the foundation of our identity, no doubt. But again, the book reminds us, memory isn't a perfect recording. It's a storyteller, constantly reshaping events, highlighting some things, forgetting others. It really makes you ask, how much of you is tied to the version of the past you choose to remember, or the way you choose to tell that story?
Interesting. What about the present?
The fleeting present. This is the only time we actually live in, right? Yet we're so often distracted, thinking about the past or worrying about the future. The book suggests mindfulness practices can help us actually inhabit the present moment. And it argues that's where our identity truly exists, where it shines.
And the future, that feels like where hope lives, but maybe anxiety too.
Exactly, the horizon of the future. It holds our hopes, our dreams, our plans. But it also holds the awareness of impermanence, that time is limited. The book touches on Heidegger's idea of being toward death. It sounds grim, but the point isn't to be morbid. It's that recognizing our finitude can give life urgency and meaning now.
Makes sense. Don't wait.
Don't wait. And finally, the rhythm of time. Life isn't linear. There are cycles, seasons of clarity followed by periods of doubt. Cultures have rituals tied to time that help ground our sense of self and community.
Okay, so that's time. How does purpose fit in?
As the pursuit of purpose. The book calls the search for meaning, the hunger for meaning, something uniquely human. We need a why beyond just survival. And purpose doesn't have to be some grand, earth-shattering thing. It can be found in quiet acts, in connection, in creativity. The measure is authenticity.
Where does purpose come from?
Lots of places. The sources of purpose could be faith, service to others, raising a family, creating art, scientific discovery, even just a strong internal resolve. Culture and circumstances definitely shape what we see as purposeful.
Is it something you find, like a hidden object?
Well, the book explores the elusive nature of purpose. It acknowledges that purpose can shift throughout life. Sometimes it feels clear, other times like a confusing void. It circles back to Sartre's idea. Maybe we're not meant to find purpose, but to create it.
Actively create it.
Through the practice of purpose. It's not about waiting for a lightning bolt. It's about small, intentional steps, day by day. The book mentions the Japanese concept of ikigai.
Oh yes, ikigai.
Finding that intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and maybe what you can be paid for, your reason for getting up in the morning. But fundamentally, the message seems to be, purpose isn't found, it's built, moment by moment, choice by choice.
That feels much more achievable. Less pressure to find the one thing. So for you listening, What future are you actively building right now? And what truly gives your life meaning today, reflecting who you are becoming? So we're pursuing purpose, trying to live meaningfully. But then there's doubt, right? That little voice or sometimes loud voice that questions everything. The book calls it a shadow, but maybe it's not entirely negative.
That's exactly the angle it takes.
Yeah.
It links the shadow of doubt with the art of becoming. What if doubt isn't the enemy of identity, but actually part of the refinement process? How does questioning, how does continuous growth help shape the truth of who you are?
Okay, tell me more about this shadow.
Well, the nature of doubt is explored first. It's universal. Everyone feels it, whether it's intellectual doubt about ideas or deeper existential doubt about life itself. But instead of just a negative, the book frames it as a potential catalyst for growth. It even mentions René Descartes, I think, therefore I am. He used radical doubt to arrive at what he felt was a foundational certainty.
So doubt can lead to clarity.
It can, but where does it come from? The roots of doubt often lie in the gap between our expectations and reality, or maybe societal pressures, past failures, hearing critical voices from others, or our own inner critic.
And it can stop you in your tracks.
Absolutely. That's the paralysis and power of doubt. It can paralyze us with fear or uncertainty, but flipped around, it can also be a powerful tool. It forces us to re-examine, to dig deeper, potentially leading to breakthroughs we wouldn't have reached otherwise. The key, the book suggests, is embracing the shadow.
How do you do that?
By acknowledging doubt without letting it define you, seeing it not as proof of failure, but maybe as a sign of intellectual honesty or humility. It keeps you open, prevents you from becoming rigid in your beliefs or sense of self.
Okay, so doubt is part of the journey. What about the art of becoming?
This really challenges the idea of a fixed self. It introduces the unfinished self. The book basically says the notion of a finished identity, like you arrive somewhere and you're done, that's a myth. Life is a lifelong journey. You're always a work in progress.
That's kind of freeing, actually. You're not stuck being who you were yesterday.
Exactly. You're never trapped. And the alchemy of experience plays a huge role here. Every experience, joy, sorrow, success, failure, is like raw material for who you are becoming. The key is bringing intention to it, learning from it.
But change is hard, letting go of old identities.
It takes the courage to change, stepping into the unknown, leaving familiar territory. The book suggests that transitions, those in-between spaces, are often where identity gets reshaped most profoundly, and reflection is vital.
Taking time to process.
Yes, the role of reflection. Pausing to actually examine your experiences, choices, beliefs. It's like holding up that mirror that shows you who you are and who you might become. And importantly, this doesn't happen in isolation. Becoming in community highlights how others act as mirrors, catalysts, companions on the journey. Though there's always that tension, balancing your path with others' views.
It sounds like it embraces messiness.
Totally. The beauty of imperfection. It's not about reaching some flawless state. The book mentions the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in things that are imperfect, incomplete, transient,
Right.
like us.
Love that. Wabi-sabi.
Yeah. So the really comforting takeaway here is doubt is normal. It's part of it. And being imperfect, being unfinished, that's what makes your identity yours. It's a masterpiece, not because it's perfect, but because it's authentic, evolving, uniquely yours.
Like an ongoing artwork. So for you listening, what new version of yourself might be waiting to step forward, and what kind of masterpiece are you willing to create, imperfections and all? Wow. Okay, we have traveled so far. From stardust through the mind, connections, beliefs, choices, time, purpose, doubt, becoming. It feels like we're reaching the end point of the book's journey. Legacy.
Yes, the culmination, the legacy of you.
How does the book frame legacy in relation to that core question, who are you? Is it about what you leave behind?
It is, but maybe not in the way we usually think. The essence of legacy, according to the book, isn't just about fame or fortune or monuments. It's the sum of every moment you live, every choice you make, every ripple you send into the lives of others. It's much more present, alive.
So it's happening now, not just after you're gone?
Exactly. He uses Maya Angelou as an example. Her legacy wasn't built on perfection, but through immense hardship. Through her voice, her authenticity, the impact she had moment by moment. It encourages living with intention. Consciously thinking, okay, how do my actions align with my values? How do I want to be remembered not just in the future, but by the person I interact with next? What impact am I having today?
That shifts the focus dramatically.
It does. It also talks about the power of presence. Simply how you show up for other people, being fully engaged, authentic, truly listening, connecting. That leaves an incredibly enduring imprint, maybe more than any material thing.
Presence as legacy. I like that.
And there's this beautiful idea of the eternal now, how time kind of meets eternity in our actions. It references Hannah Arendt's thought that humans have this unique ability to start something new, to create things, actions, words, works that can potentially outlive them and endure.
So our choices echo.
They echo. The book really hammers home this core message again. Your legacy is not something you leave only at life's end. It is built in every choice, every connection, every moment of becoming. It's happening right now. So connecting it all back, the whole deep dive, everything the book explores. It kind of boils down to this. Who are you? Isn't a question with a static answer you find. It's the answer you live.
The answer you live. Wow, that lands powerfully. So the question for you listening becomes, what are you creating today that will echo this whole journey, this deep dive?
Yeah.
It's clearly not meant to be the final word. It's a spark, right?
Definitely a spark.
What an incredible journey we've been on, truly. From realizing we're literally made of stardust, to navigating the labyrinth of our minds, feeling the weave of our connections, checking our belief compass, standing in the forge of choice, feeling the current of time, searching for purpose, facing down doubt, and embracing this whole messy, beautiful art of becoming. We've pulled out some amazing insights, I think, from Suresh Gamidi's book, Who Are You? And remember, this deep dive was designed for you listening in, to give you a shortcut to the core ideas, hopefully save you some time, and maybe, just maybe, ignite your own ongoing journey of self-discovery. So after all that, now that we've really unpacked what it even means to ask, who are you? What part of this resonates most with you right now?
Yeah, think about it. This dive showed you're this incredible mix, a child of the cosmos, a mind searching for truth, a heart connected to the whole human story, a soul actively creating meaning. But if your identity is always becoming, never finished, shaped by every single choice, every doubt you wrestle with, what's next chapter? What unwritten part of who are you most curious or maybe even excited to explore in your own life starting now?
That is the perfect question to leave with. Carry that curiosity, carry that truth. The book points to you are a force, you are a unique presence, your story is already rippling through time. Go out there and live that radiant truth. Create it.